Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
Welcome back. I'm Frank Agin, founder and president of AmSpirit Business Connections, and your host for this episode of Networking RX. One of the questions I get from time to time relative to networking is, how do you get better at it? That's a refreshing question, to be honest. We all stand to improve at, well, pretty much anything. Leadership, communication, cooking, pretty much anything. And that's probably a fact. As leadership management consultant Michael Dirks queries the groups he works with, what's the biggest room in your organization? The answer is the room for improvement. So we all stand to get better at networking, among other things. Despite this, not everyone is interested in getting better at networking. There are a great many people who could improve but are blind to the fact. Perhaps they have a fixed mindset towards networking. That is, they see networking as something that's like the color of your eyes or height. What networking ability they have is the ability they have, and there's no way they can change it. Or perhaps these people view their networking skills to be superb and there's no improving on excellence. Yeah, whatever. In any event, these people are not interested in getting better. There's another group or cross-section of people who could improve and know they could improve but just don't want to make the effort for whatever reason. Oh well, I say. They don't want to get better and they won't get better. And in reality, that makes it easier for everyone else trying to improve if you think about it. So again, not everyone is interested in getting better at networking. So when someone asks, how do I get better at networking? I find it refreshing. They know they could stand to improve and they want to learn how. So how do you get better at networking? There are lots of ways in reality, and we'll touch on many of them, if not all of them, in the time on this podcast. But I see improving your network as falling into really three categories. The first is practice. Networking to a degree is a skill. There's an attitudinal component to it for sure, and we'll touch on that in other episodes. But networking is a skill, like sailing, knitting, or computer programming, none of which I'm any good at. And like any skill, practice brings improvement. This entails simply getting out there, getting out of your comfort zone, and taking every reasonable opportunity to interact with other people. In addition to practice, another means of improving your networking is through what I'll call education. You can become better at networking by simply becoming a student of it. There's several ways you can learn up on the topic. Of course, you can start by listening to this podcast or other ones that are similar. You could also attend programs geared towards networking or tune into networking related webinars. Either is or both are worthwhile. In a future episode, we may discuss the ones out there and perhaps review some of the people behind them. You could also become a student of networking by turning to the internet, as it is literally teeming with information, LinkedIn discussion groups, blogs, and websites dedicated to the mission of becoming better at networking. Finally, there are a plethora of books in circulation on networking, which can allow you to read up on it. Donna Fisher's People Power, Rick Frischman and Jill Lublin wrote a book called Networking Magic. Keith Ferrazzi has Never Eat Alone. Ivan Meisner, Business by Referral. Dr. Wayne Baker has Networking Smart and Achieving Success through Social Capital. Bob Berg's Endless Referrals and The Go-Giver. And of course, I'd be silly not to mention a few of the books I've written, Foundational Networking, which is intended to get at the appropriate networking habits and attitudes, as well as The Champion, which is a fable sharing a tale of bad networking turned good, and finally a book that shares a title with this podcast, Networking RX. The point is, there are dozens and dozens of books on networking. Any or all of them can help you become a student of networking, enabling you to get better at it. Beyond practicing networking and becoming a student of it, there's another means of getting better at networking, and it's seldom mentioned and often overlooked. It is learn from others. Tony Robbins, famed author, motivational speaker, and iconic life coach, has a saying, or perhaps it's best called a mantra, and that is, success leaves clues. To elaborate, there are successful people around us, and we can become more successful too by learning from them. With networking, it's no different. No doubt you know someone who has built a successful network and seems to be reaping the benefits of it. It wasn't luck that got them there. Rather, it was about the things they did, the things they said or didn't say. It's how they conducted themselves. If you know such a person, reach out to them and ask what it is they do. They may only have time for a few minutes on the phone. Take it. Use that as a starting point and engage them on and off. Now, if you're looking for more time than that, here are some hints to make that happen. Try one or two of these. First, refer back to episode 3, the one on adding value. Figure out how you could add value to them to entice them to engage in conversation with you. Maybe that is simply buying them a cup of coffee or lunch, though if their time is at a premium, that might not be enticing enough. Maybe it's finding out how you can help them with a business or charitable initiative. In short, you'd be freeing up some of their time so they could spend it with you. Maybe, I don't know, it depends on the person, the situation, and what you're looking to accomplish. But remember, people associate with those they know, like, and trust, and that tends to happen when they sense there's that value there for them. The second thing is to ask what networking events they plan to attend, chamber functions, business after hours, or professional mixers, and arrange to meet them there for additional time. After all, they're going to be there anyway. Now, this is not suggesting that you'll get 100% of their time at the event, but getting some time is a reasonable hope. However, there are two other potential benefits. One, they may well introduce you to someone connected to them, as no doubt others are there to see them as well. This serves to expand your network with likely quality contacts. The second benefit is that you get to observe them network firsthand. Remember, success leaves clues. Watch and learn as this networking icon moves from person to person to person. Now, if you don't think you know a successful networker, well, you're probably wrong, but let's go with that. So if you truly don't think you know a successful networker, then find a chamber function, a business after hours, or any gathering where people will be at. Then go. Don't be a wallflower, interact with people. But as you do, be on the lookout for the people who appear to be strong networkers. No, they won't be wearing signs around their necks or have a tiara on their head, but in time they'll stick out. You'll see them confidently engaged in conversation, but never talking with the same person long, and likely not in the same place. Trust me, you'll get a sense as to who they are. When you find them, observe them. Again, success leaves clues. If you can, get close enough to them so you can overhear their conversations. Listen to how they move into conversations, move from topic to topic, and how they move out of conversations onto other people. Again, success leaves clues. In fact, I like to think I'm a reasonably seasoned networker, and I still find myself at events observing other networkers and even listening to how they move in, through, and out of conversations and on to the next person. We can all improve, right? Finally, if you're up for it, I challenge you to engage that person in conversation. Be in their vicinity when they're between conversations. Make eye contact with them. When you do, reach out your hand, introduce yourself, and simply say something like, "I promise I haven't been stalking you, but I've been watching you. Wow, you're a consummate networker. I'd love to hear your story." You'll probably let out a nervous chuckle, and they will too, but you'll have broken the ice, and boom, you'll have a great networker in your network to learn from. So if you've listened to this point, you're either really pathetic with nothing to do, or you're serious about being better at networking. I'm guessing you're not pathetic, so thanks for sticking with me, and kudos for working to improve your network. Remember, practicing is important, so is becoming a student of networking. But you can achieve some wonderful networking improvement by learning from and observing others. Remember, success leaves clues. To wrap things up, remember, we're looking for some enterprising business types to join our team as franchisees of AmSpirit Business Connections. Our franchisees work with entrepreneurs, sales representatives, and professionals in their area to help them become more successful through networking and the exchange of quality business referrals using a structured weekly morning meeting. This is a unique franchise opportunity, you see. Because these meetings are in the morning, generally wrapping up by 9 a.m., a successful business type of professional can add this franchise opportunity onto what they're already doing. Again, all of our franchisees do something else. For a couple hours in the morning, a few days a week, these franchisees work the AmSpirit Business Connections model. The rest of the time, they're attorneys, accountants, realtors, coaches, and consultants of various kinds. The wonderful thing is that not only do our franchisees realize a financial gain from operating AmSpirit Business Connections, but the business networks that they build and develop become a great source of referrals for their primary business focus as well. Sound interesting? Perhaps you know someone? Perhaps you are someone. Whatever the case, to learn more about the AmSpirit Business Connections franchise opportunity, please contact me using the email at the end of this program.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connections. All rights reserved.